All right, it's time for another review. Today I've got the CAMMUS C5, the new gold standard in budget sim racing wheels, in my opinion. I'll explain more next. What's up, everybody? Thomas Brandon here. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. And like I said, we got another wheel review for you as we are reviewing the CAMMUS C5. Now, a couple things before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this review. First of all, excuse the mess behind me. I'm rearranging my office right now. I've got a desk. I got a bunch of boxes. I've been actually reviewing a couple of different things, so I've got stuff kind of everywhere right now. So forgive me on that. The house is also under construction right now, so forgive me on that. Second thing, full disclosure, CAMMUS sent me this wheel. Okay, they sent me this wheel. They gave this to me. As you guys know, my daily driver is the CAMMUS DDWB21. That's the 15 Newton meter, their big force feedback direct drive. Okay, that was kind of their flagship, the one that they came out with first. That's my daily driver. I've been using that every day for a year now, close to a year. So they have sent me stuff before, given me stuff before. They gave me this wheel, and like I told them, as I tell everybody who sends me stuff to either review or promote or anything like that, I do not promote it unless I like it, unless I think it's actually a good product. And so when CAMMUS reached out to me about the C5, I told them the same thing, and here we are. So first things first, this thing is really, really cool. It is a very, very different concept. When I first saw this wheel online, I didn't know how this was going to work. I thought that it was, I kind of thought, I was like, that seems kind of like a weird design to put the motor, the direct drive motor, in the wheel. Like, I get the concept of it, right? Like, hey man, you don't got to worry about the shaft. It's just boom right there and clear force feedback. But it just, to me, it seemed like a lot of moving parts, right? A lot of stuff, and how are you going to mount it and all that stuff like that. So I was a little concerned about it in the beginning. I really was. When I got it and pulled it out of the box, the first thing that really caught my attention was how small this thing is. This thing is very compact. Now, one thing to note is that my normal wheel is huge. Okay, so if we look at my wheel off my other one, this is my normal rim here. Okay, and you can see just the size difference here. It's not even close. This is like 13.25 inches, I want to say, in diameter. If I had to guess, this is probably 10.5, 11, somewhere right around there. I imagine it's probably something in millimeters. But so I was pretty surprised by it. That being said, I did not have a hard time adapting to this thing. This thing feels really good in my hands. I was shocked by how good this felt in my hands. Maybe it's because of how I hold it, right? I'm trying to get here into the cam. Maybe it's because this is where I hold the steering wheel. No matter what wheel I'm at, I'm going to be in this position. And so maybe because these just fit my hands perfectly, right? Like my hand just wraps around it. I don't know what it is, but it felt really, really good. It was comfortable. The size difference did matter, but you know, when I started out, I had a Thrustmaster TMX, which is their budget version of a wheel, and that wheel was smaller as well. I had stepped that up to like a Sparco rally reel, which was a lot bigger. So I'm used to driving with bigger wheels. And for those of you guys who follow me, you know I do a lot of everything, but dirt is how I started. And when you're driving like a non-wing sprint car or a midget or something like that, you know, counter steering is something that you do a lot of. And when you have a bigger wheel, it's easier as opposed to a smaller one. Now your arms are crossing over and stuff like that. So I thought that was going to be a problem. It wasn't. It was not a problem. Overall, this thing feels really, really good. Now, the buttons on here are really nice. They actually have a good feel to them. These dials, these dials are what I want on this. Okay? See, these dials, keep in mind, this wheel is like, I think this wheel costs almost as much as the C5, the whole C5. and this is I love this wheel. This wheel is awesome. But these dials are really soft. Like when you go to turn them, there's the slightest little bit, and they're really soft. So when I'm driving, if I'm trying to adjust something, especially if I'm at speed, right? It's very hard to make a one-click adjustment with these dials, okay? Whereas this, I tested this thing in a multitude of cars on iRacing. I even tested it on ACC, and it felt good on ACC. I'm not a fan of ACC, but I still tested on other platforms just to make sure that it works. But this is, you can see how much easier it clicks and how much nicer it clicks. It's just, you can actually feel it click. So that's really nice. I love that dial compared to the other ones. I really do. CAMMUS definitely improved upon this. These buttons feel really nice. You can legitimately map everything that you need, like, on this wheel. Like, you really can't. I mean, you could essentially, you could play a video. You play Mario Brothers on this thing. There's so many buttons on it. Like, seriously. So the buttons, really, really nice. I like the feel of them. They're all in close proximity. Very easy to reach. Even the dials, you're not having to reach far. You can see I can still keep two fingers on the wheel and twist, which was very, very nice, especially when I was running like the Indy car or the GT3 car, where, you're adjusting traction control, ABS, that type of thing. So those were really nice. Now, there was one thing that I did not really like, and that is these shifters. So this shifter here, trying to get it in the light here, is right there. This is the shifter. It's tiny, right? It's literally, it's about that big. It's tiny. It's so tiny. Now, that being said, I can get 2 fingers on it. Right there. I can get 2 fingers on it. And the shift is actually okay. It doesn't have a solid click like what I'm used to, like this. Right? Like I can feel that shift. Where this, it shifts okay, and like in the Indy car and the GT3 car, I didn't have any issues with double shifts or anything like that, but it's just not the strength that I'm used to, okay? They seem really small, but they're not. You can get 2 fingers on them, which is all I need when I shift, and they feel really good. One thing I will say about the shifters, though, and I did see this online, was that there was, I know one person for sure, I think, I don't know if there was more than one, but I saw one for sure where this broke. This paddle broke, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't fix that. Once that thing breaks, you can't fix it. You're not taking that apart and replacing it or anything like that. It's that you're just not shifting with that no more. You're done using it. So you're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to map a button or something. So that was one downside. But for $249, I got to be honest with you, man. I really feel like I'm splitting hairs with that. Okay, I really do. Right now, the wheel that I started at with the Thrustmaster TMX, that wheel and pedals is like $250. Okay, you can get the CAMMUS C5 bundle, which is this wheel, and then they've also got their pedals with just a gas and a brake. I haven't tried their pedals. I know some people out there who have. They say they're just, kind of your standard cheaper linear pedals, but they're made of metal. So like I said, I haven't used them, but that's just what I've heard. And they're starter pedals, and you can get that right now. I think you can get the whole bundle for like $299, maybe even less. I'll pop the screenshot of it up here on the video. So, but the wheel itself you can get for $249. You can get this out the door right now on the website for $249. I was shocked by how good this felt. I thought when I was going from a 15 Newton meter wheel to a 5 Newton meter wheel, I thought that it was going to be, I didn't think I would get much feeling out of this. When I went from that 15 Newton meter back to my Thrustmaster T300 last year, when I did the review, I talked about the motherboard issue that I had with that. When that happened, it felt like I had no force feedback, okay? When I went from that to this, now keep in mind, this is 5 Newton meters, where the Thrustmaster T300 is like 2.5. So this is double the strength, but I actually had to turn this down in situations. Now, I had to turn it down for more than one reason. First of all, and I don't know if it's because the wheel is smaller, I think that has something to do with it, but because the wheel felt so much smaller to me, I actually would turn the strength down in situations because you don't have the leverage. And since the motor, the direct drive motor is actually on the wheel, there's a when you're turning the wheel, there's a heaviness that you feel to the wheel. After you do it, after a few laps, it feels natural. You get used to it very, very quickly, but it's almost like a friction. If you imagine like a setting where you have friction and you can turn the friction up, that's what it feels. It's almost like a natural friction in the wheel. Now there is friction settings, and with the CAMMUS software, there's actually more settings for this wheel than there is the DD WB21. So my 15 Newton meter like flagship wheelbase, that's got like 4 settings that I can, like 4 things I can adjust. This has like 8 or 10. So there's definitely a lot more. Now, more doesn't mean better. Okay, that's not what that means, but there is a lot more. I think the main reason there's more is because this wheel is less in terms of the strength. You have to there's a CF filter and a Q factor and stuff like that, which are different, kind of filters for low pass and high pass and things like that. So you don't get ridiculous like vibrations or oscillations in the wheel, especially if you're someone who likes to crank up the force feedback. Okay, so just that note that, right, with the motor on the wheel like that, there's a little bit of a natural friction, and you can tune that more in the software. Okay, another thing about the software is I would recommend having different profiles for different cars. If you were someone like me who races a bunch of stuff, like I run, dirt, NASCAR, short track asphalt, road, I open wheel road, GT3, like I run a bunch of different stuff. I have different profiles for everything because and I don't know if this is a CAMMUS thing because I haven't, I've used other wheels like played with them for a little bit, but haven't owned them in terms of like other direct drives, right? The CAMMUS wheel, I'll hop in one car and the force feedback will be perfect. I'll go hop into another car and it's like so hard I can barely turn it. Okay. So I don't know if that's an iRacing thing, a software thing, a CAMMUS. I don't know, but I know that I've got to have different profiles for different cars. And a lot of times there's only it's a small change. It's changing the dampening or changing the friction, like that type of thing. The effects and the strength I usually have up at 95, 100% all the time. So with this though, I did have to adjust the wheels or adjust the settings for the cars a little bit more than I would normally. So that is something else that you're going to want to keep in mind if you go this route. Okay. You were going to want to take a little bit of time and go through the settings, create some profiles, and really fine tune them. I would actually recommend doing like one car at a time. So whatever car you drive the most, let's say you drive the Ferrari GT3 car on iRacing, get that profile dialed into where it feels good. Once you've got it to where it feels good, then you can move on to the next car, right? And then I drive the NASCAR Cup Series car. So then go to that car and then create another profile for that. And it's really easy to do in the software. It's not hard. You can just save it. There's a whole list of your profiles right there. You click on it, one click load, boom, you're ready to go. Okay. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this wheel. I thought it was really, really nice. It's well put together. It's metal. The wheel feels sturdy. You don't have any flex in it, which is to be expected with the motor here, right? That's going to obviously add some rigidity to it. Everything plugs into the back right here. This is the mounting system, these two things that come off. Now, you can mount this, okay, if you have a plate where you have your wheel. If you have a cockpit like I'm in right now, I'm in like an open wheeler cockpit. There's a plate right here. You can actually put this right on the plate and run bolts to it, okay? You can do that. CAMMUS does have a desk clamp that you can get. The desk clamp right now you can get for $29. So the clamp is really nice because you can there's a fan that comes with this. You can see there's a fan plug right there. And it is a blower style fan. It's like the blower fans that we used to see on the old AMD or Radeon graphics cards or the NVIDIA GeForce graphics cards. Remember they had those blower style coolers? It's a fan like that. So it just brings air in through the top of the clamp and then it blows it directly here on the motor. I did not notice this getting hot, and I used the crap out of this. Okay, I used the crap. For those of you guys who know me, I spend a lot of time in this cockpit, whether it's testing, building setups, whatever. So I use this a ton. It never got hot. It did a couple of times make some noises where I hopped into a new car. I didn't have the settings dialed in yet, and I would go into the first corner, and it's, it's going like it's you can tell that it was too high. Okay, and that is something that I have noticed with these CAMMUS wheels, is that it's not, like I said, I don't know if it's a software thing. I don't know if it's a force feedback thing, a motor thing, or if it's how it integrates with iRacing. I don't know, but you're not going to set up the strength like you would with other wheels, right? So I've used other wheels, like I said before, Thrustmaster, Fanatec, even a Simicube. And essentially, you would go in there and you could basically set the strength all the way up 100%. And then it would have, like in iRacing, it's got the force, right? Maximum force. You would set it to whatever the wheel is. So let's say the wheel's 10 Newton meters. You would put that to 10 Newton meters. Boom, you're good to go, and you're great. If I do that with my CAMMUS stuff, right? Some cars, I can't turn the wheel. I physically cannot turn the wheel. And I'm not a weak person, right? I'm not a superhero, but I'm not weak. So for me to not be able to like turn the wheel, that's more than 15 Newton meters, right? On my big one. There, I had the same situation with this. This is 5 Newton meters. I should be able to turn this even with it at its maximum settings. So I don't know what that is. Like I said, it could be a filter thing, a thing with the software. So there's going to be times you might have to turn it up in the software, and then in the sim dial it down, dial the strength down. And I noticed that there was times where I would have to turn it down quite a bit, and it would, be fine. Like even though I would turn it down quite a bit, it still felt great. I could feel everything. It had good fidelity. I could feel when the car got loose or got tight, when it slid the wheels. I could catch slides with it. On the dirt, I could feel the bumps. I could feel the cushion. It felt good. There was very little that I did not like about this. I got to tell you, and I'm shocked by that, you guys. I did not think I was going to like this as much as I did. This is a wheel that I would 100% recommend for anybody who is starting out or is wanting to get into direct drives and they don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money. Because at $250, you can get this. And I got to be honest with you, for that price, I think it's a great deal. Now, yes, if you need the desk clamp, you got to spend another $29. And if you need pedals, you got to spend a little bit more to get the pedals. But you can get a whole bundle, I think, for like $300. And to me, to be able to get a direct drive bundle, a legitimate direct drive wheel and pedals for that price, I think that's incredible. And best part is you can actually use this on a desk. Okay. You don't have to have a rig for this. You can get the desk clamp and use this on a desk. And as long as you've got, a desk sturdier than a $39 Walmart desk, like it'll work. It will work. In fact, Justin Yee, guys, but I've been talking to him, and he put out his review of this. And he is a single monitor desk, drives on a desk, and he put this on a desk and used it. So, I even put it on mine here. I didn't have it on there very long because I've got an L-shaped desk here, and it was kind of weird the way I had to clamp it. But I just wanted to try it on the desk, and it worked. It felt good on the desk. So you're wanting to get into direct drive, or you are new, you're wanting to get into sim racing, or maybe you've been on a controller and you're wanting to get a wheel. I got to tell you guys, I would 100% recommend this, okay? Because this thing has worked really, really well, and it felt really, really good. And that's coming from somebody who uses a 15 Newton meter wheel, right? To step down to 5. I was pleasantly surprised with this at how well it felt and how good it was constructed. Like I said, the one thing I don't like is these shifters, but man, for this price, I got to tell you, to me, that's kind of splitting hairs. I think this is a great deal, and this is something that I'm happy to promote because, like I said, it worked really, really well. And so far, I haven't had any problems with it. Now, long term, I will do a long-term review of this. I always do. I've got my long-term review coming from my other wheel. But, you know, long-term, we got to wait long-term for. As of right now, I've had 0 issues, and it works great. Last little note, you do have these light indicators here, which is pretty cool. And the screen shows you your speed in kilometers an hour. So it definitely looks pretty cool. Aesthetically, it looks nice. It is, like I said, smaller, but if you were somebody who's coming from like a Thrustmaster, like a lower T1, even if you're coming from a T300 or a G29, G27, the G920, whatever, 923 or whatever it is, because they got their different names for PlayStation, Xbox, whatever that crap is. This is a great option. And like I said, I used it for iRacing and ACC. It felt great, worked great, and I am pleasantly surprised. All right, you guys, so that's going to do it for this video. I wanted to get this review out to you guys just because I've got another one coming that I'm actually working on right now. Another steering wheel that I'm reviewing in the process of testing and stuff like that. And so I wanted to get this one out to you. And the reason for that is because, like I said, at that price point, I was really surprised with how good it felt. I really was. When CAMMUS had first reached out to me about it, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of like, wow, God, do I really want to review that thing? Like, I've got their other one, and it's 15 Newton meters, and it's a big GT. Like, I was kind of hesitant, you know? I was like, do I need to do that? And it was like, yeah, send it to me. Let me check it out. And I'm glad I did, because it's incredible. It really is. Like I said, I am pleasantly surprised at how well it felt, how well it worked, how smooth it was. And yes, you're going to need to spend a little bit of time getting the profiles dialed in with the settings, but overall, very, very nice. I wish that something like that had existed back when I got my T300. I wish something like that had existed, because that feels so much better than any belt drive I ever used. And I've used very expensive ones, right? Fanatec Club Sport 2.5 or whatever that wheel was. I mean, that thing was like $700, right? I would take this C5 over that any day of the week. This felt so much better than even expensive belt drives. So the fact that we've got these like budget direct drive options is incredible. It is so incredible that you can get a direct drive wheel for a few $100. Now, CAMMUS has obviously gone a different route with the whole motor in the wheel type of thing. You do have other options out there in terms of budget direct drives, but from what I could see online, this is like the cheapest there is in terms of price, okay? Not quality, in terms of price. So if you are somebody who's wanting to get into direct drive and you've only got a couple $100, definitely take a look at this. I do have a code. You can use Tommy at checkout. That'll get you 5% off. But like I said, I am not promoting this for affiliate link or anything like that. Nothing like that. I actually really like this. You guys should know by now I don't promote or say anything that I don't like, that I don't stand behind. And this was it was good. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. So yeah, you guys, if you want to check that out, I'll have a link down in the description below for the website and everything else, and the code, so you could check that out. But that'll do it. Thank you very much as always. If you did like this video, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. The goal is to get to 20,000 this year. We're off to a very slow start because of me. I've been so busy. I'm the story of my life. But, you know, between the business side of this, the glass business, the construction here at the house, my son doing 2 sports right now at the same time, you know, I'm working 120 hours a week, and all the other, you know, extracurricular stuff with the family going on. It's just been chaos, and I have not gotten out nearly enough content. I've got all these videos like recorded that I need to edit and get out. Like this video is leapfrogging like 10 other videos because I wanted to get this one out because I got another one I've got to get out. So yeah, so we want to get to 20K this year. That's the goal. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. It really means a lot. It definitely helps us out, and it just gets this information out to sim racers out there, because there's a lot of sim racers out there. And even though I only focus, on iRacing, there's a lot of people on iRacing where this information, whether it's the wheel or the guides or whatever, can be helpful. So please like, subscribe, all that other stuff that every other YouTuber on earth asks you to do. And if you want to actually join our community, head on over to schoolofsimracing.net. I'll have a link down in the description below, and click on the button that says join community. That'll get you into our Discord group or Facebook group, all that stuff. And the Discord group is really the best way to get in contact with myself or anybody on the SSR team or anybody else in the SSR community. We've got like 5,000 people in our Discord, and it's great. You can ask questions in there. Tons of people in there willing to help you. It's a great place to meet other people, race with them, all kinds of stuff. It's where we run our leagues at, everything. So if you want to check any of those things out, links for all of it down in the description below. But that'll do it. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got another review coming up on a new product, which is really, really cool. And then also I will be putting out some other review videos. I got ones for my pedals, a bunch of stuff, long-term review of the other CAMMUS wheel, and a bunch more. So that'll do it. Thank you very much, as always. And until next time, I want to wish you good luck, good racing. Take care.